Over the years, we've seen cases and incidents that science and logic just can't explain. For Lorraine and me, this wasn't anything new. We had seen plenty of strange things, but nothing prepared us for the house on Chase Street. When we first arrived at the Smurl family's home in West Pittston, Pennsylvania, the summer air was heavy and hot, but the house itself felt dark, like it swallowed the light around it. The wooden porch steps groaned under our weight, like old bones breaking. The paint was peeling, the windows were covered in a greasy film, and the grass in the yard was completely dead, like the land itself was poisoned. Lorraine grabbed my arm so hard it hurt. Her face turned pale as she whispered, "It's everywhere." Then the smell hit me, a mix of rotting meat, burned hair, and something strangely sweet, like old candy. Inside, the walls seemed to move, almost as if they were breathing. Jack and Janet Smurl stood in the hallway with hollow eyes and shaking hands. Their 4 daughters hid behind them, too scared to speak. Jack's parents barely left their room upstairs. "It gets worse at night," Janet said, her voice trembling. "It touches us." Jack rolled up his sleeve to reveal bruises shaped like long fingers. "It grabbed my ankle and dragged me off the bed," he said, his voice filled with fear. "It left these marks." Janet slowly lifted her shirt. Deep, dark wounds ran down her back, the skin black and wet. "They won't heal," she whispered. "They just keep leaking." The children's stories were even worse. The youngest, Heather, woke up screaming about a man with no face pinching her toes. The twins, Mary and Laura, drew pictures of a shadow licking the windows, leaving behind greasy streaks. The oldest, Susan, said her closet door creaked open every night, and she could hear something scratching the floor, getting closer to her bed. That night, we set up cameras and tape recorders. Lorraine sat on the floor, clutching her cross, her eyes shut tight like she was listening for something. At midnight, the house went deathly silent. Then a growl. It wasn't from a dog, and it wasn't human. It was something deeper, something more evil. The temperature dropped suddenly. Our breath turned to fog. The growl grew into a crash. Walls shook, doors slammed. Something heavy ran down the hallway toward us. Each step made the floorboards above creak. The ceiling groaned, as if something was crawling up there, claws scratching at the plaster. Then, a scream. Jack's mother. We ran upstairs. Her bedroom door was shaking like something was trying to break out. Then, bang! The door flew open. The room stank of rotting flesh. The old woman pointed at the dark corner, shaking with terror. There, in the shadows, a tall figure loomed. It was black as oil, with glowing yellow eyes. The air around it twisted, like heat rising from a fire. Lorraine jumped in front of me just as it lunged. Then, poof! It exploded into a swarm of flies. The insects dropped dead on the floor. The next few days were pure hell. Jack was thrown across the room by an invisible force, his ribs cracking against a dresser. Janet's hair was yanked so hard her neck snapped backward, hot breath whispering in her ear, "Mine." The kids' toys moved on their own. Dolls with melted faces crawled up the stairs. A rocking horse shattered into pieces. One night, the kitchen faucet turned on by itself, spewing black water that smelled like sewage. And whatever this thing was, it was getting stronger. Lorraine saw it one night, crawling on the ceiling like a spider, its legs bending the wrong way. Black goo oozed from the walls, forming strange symbols. Upside-down crosses, goat-like faces. Mirrors exploded, their shattered glass forming patterns that made our heads ache. The walls leaked thick, black slime. It burned our skin. It made the kids vomit. Then Lorraine told me something that made my blood run cold. "It's not just one ghost, Ed," she said, shaking. "It's hundreds, trapped here, turning into something hungry." She described a pit full of screaming souls, their bodies twisting together, rotting into something worse than death. We called Father Dylan, a priest with experience in exorcisms. He walked in, took one sniff of the air, and went pale. "This place stinks of hell," he muttered. The exorcism began at noon. Father Dylan shouted prayers, splashing holy water that sizzled and smoked against the walls. But the house fought back. Nails shot up from the floor like spikes. The Bible caught fire. A chandelier crashed down, barely missing him. Then, silence. For a moment we thought we had won. Then laughter. It started low, like a sick joke. Then, the walls bulged, faces and hands pressing against them, trying to break through. Father Dylan's nose started bleeding. "It's not leaving," he shouted. A deep gash opened on his cheek, as if a knife had slashed him. That night, the horror reached its peak. Jack woke up unable to move, something crushing his chest. Janet was lifted off the bed, her back bending unnaturally until she dropped to the floor. In the girls' room, Heather's teddy bear exploded, maggots spilling out, crawling into her ears. And through it all, a voice roared, a mix of screams and growls. Flesh to break, bones to drink. At sunrise, we ran. The Smalls piled into our car with nothing but the clothes on their backs. But the darkness followed. In their new apartment, sinks spat black sludge. Family photos burned on their own. One night, Heather's reflection in the mirror moved on its own, whispering words that made her stop talking for weeks. Jack's father woke up one night with his pillow soaked in blood. But there was no wound. The TV turned on by itself, displaying only static. But in the center, two glowing eyes stared back at them. For 3 years, they fought it. Prayers, charms, sleepless nights. Eventually, the hauntings faded. The Smurls moved again, changed their phone number, but they still flinched at every sound. The house on Chase Street is still there. The new owners painted it yellow, but no one stays for long. Neighbors say they hear things. Children laughing, then screaming. A low growl in the dark. And sometimes, at midnight, the streetlights flicker out. The house seems to lean forward, stretching toward the sidewalk, watching, because not all hauntings can be cleansed. Not all demons can be cast out. Some just wait in the dark, getting hungrier. Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, I'll see you again with another creepy story. Until then, bye.